last time we did the elevator pitch, we had Diane Bryson, who
we
put her on the spot, but so we did the elevator pitch with Diane, so that was great. And just to get started then, this is our monthly chamber chat with the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce, and we have our fabulous, I don't even know how to describe you anymore. You're just like the BFF of the Palm Beach Chamber. Shannon is awesome. And Shannon, I think for those of you that don't know, has written a book on how to get media advertising, because she is the guru of getting your message out there. And one of these days you're going to bring your book so we can hold it up to show them.
Yes,
Media
that would
Magic.
probably be nice. Huh?
Yeah, that would be good. And then she puts on the summit. Now that is the Business
Acceleration Summit.
Yep. And what's the next one?
September 28th and 29th, and then we have a bonus day on the 30th.
Oh, wow. The bonus days, it's funny because people sometimes think, oh, the 2 days is fine, but it's usually right at the end, that little gem that you get that made the whole thing worthwhile. And not that it wouldn't have been to begin with, but, it's kind of like, those are great. So 10, that's very impressive. Yeah. That's very impressive.
And the bonus day is kind of cool because then you sit down one-on-one and people get to work individually with you. So it's really that extra.
Wow. That's like having a mentor.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to reach over and grab my phone,
please,
because I want to be able to share our Facebook Live with a lot of people. It's all right. Okay. And those of you that are joining us on Facebook Live, we're here to support you. So we would love to hear from you. We are more than welcome to, if you go to
Linda Filippini.
Nope. Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce.com.
Yes.
Then they can actually join us on Zoom and interact. And Curtis and Linda are here. If you hit unmute, you're more than welcome to say hello. As we work on our pitches today, we'd love to hear yours, and it's a great chance for free press.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And then you can post this on your page. We'll start with a few things happening with the Chamber. Space Coast Business Magazine this month. So for August, we are very excited because Jeff Pearsall and his team, Charisse, were very kind to work with us for the Space Coast Symposium. So that is our full inside front cover. Unfortunately, the guests have changed a little bit from that, but let me tell you what is going on September 22nd, because our chamber has never done this before. And this is just like the panel that's everybody, kind of wants to have the FaceTime with, and you're going to see them all in one place. So for $45, we have a continental breakfast and lunch included. And then our first panel has Sheriff Wayne Ivey. We have Thomas Weinberg, who's chairman of the Port Canaveral Port Authority. We have Michelle Maslin, who is president of the Home Builders and Contractors Association. Misty Belford, who is the chairwoman of the Brevard County School Board. And James Barfield, who is county commissioner for District 2. And then our second panel now has Dwayne DeFries, the executive director of the Indian River Lagoon Council. We have Jim Kuzma, who is Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Space Florida. We have Linda Weatherman, who is the President and CEO of Florida Space Coast Economic Development Commission. Yeah, we have Eric Garvey.
Wow, you don't want to miss this.
No, Eric Garvey, he's the Director of Florida Space Coast Office of Tourism. And then Greg Donovan, the Executive Director of the Orlando Melbourne International Airport. So all of these are on one panel. Then our panel 3, yes, we have Honorable Dorothy Huckel. She's the Florida Senate District 14. We have Honorable Thomas Goodson. He's the Florida House Representative for District 51. And Honorable Thad Altman, House Representative District 53. And Honorable Randy Fine, Florida House Representative District 53. And then our keynote speaker for luncheon is Congressman Bill Posey. So that is the lineup for our symposium on September 22nd. Go to the Greater Palm Bay Chamber.com to get your tickets. We are already close to 100 people and we're more than a month away. So, I mean, that's unheard of because normally, last minute, right?
Yeah,
you still have dates? Yeah, okay. So we expect this is going to be a huge event. Thank you for asking. It's at the Space Coast Convention Center, and that's 301 Tucker Lane. And these are actually the two guys on the cover own it. So it's kind of like one of those whole, kind of meant to be type of things. Yes. So after September 15th, tickets go up to $55. So get your tickets early.
Today? No, September.
September.
Sorry.
Yes. They have a month.
Okay. And you're going to still have space?
We might not. I mean, we literally might not. To have 100 people
this early.
Yeah, more than what do we have, a month and a half to go? Yeah, so I don't know, but I would say get your tickets early if you want to be part of this, because it's really, and there's corporate tables available, and there's still some sponsorships too if they want to be a sponsor of this event. So this is kind of, and I don't like saying the who's who of Brevard County, but really we tried to cover, all the, and I wanted to be different in that they'll all give an update. So everybody's kind of talking about, what's happening in their areas, and then what they're expecting for the future. There'll be question and answer, but I also want them to talk about how we as the business community can help them, because often everybody says everything negative going on. Okay, the schools need to do this, the county commissioners need to do that, the roads, but it's like, how can the business community help Brevard County move in the right direction? Like, we're doing phenomenal right now, but there's still some challenges. So what can we do to make a difference, and how the business community can get engaged? So that's really exciting. The one thing that we have coming up, though, very short window now, is our business directory and community guide. So for those of you that are a member of our chamber, by Friday, you will automatically get a free listing in this guide. If you want to advertise, we have space available, and you don't have to be a member to advertise. Obviously, it's a little bit more, so it's wise to just be a member. But we are printing 10,000 copies of this guide. Wow. We are also having an electronic version on our chamber website. So there'll be a link from anybody that advertises to their website from our chamber website. But then it's also going to be on the City of Melbourne, the City of Palm Bay, the City of West Melbourne's website. So huge exposure, very reasonable pricing. I mean, the quarter page ad is only $350.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. A full page is only $750. So you're thinking this is a whole year of advertising on all these websites along with those copies. And it's going to be at our chamber here running on our TV. So really,
I don't know any magazine that prints 10,000 copies and does it that cheap.
No, everybody asked me how we did that. I went, well, we were, very generous with our inexpensive advertising prices that we've, but it's for our members. So we want to make sure that we're providing great value, and their members automatically get a free listing. So, but we are recommending, please make sure we have the right information in our system. So you can go as a member onto your site and look at it, update whatever you want, because some home-based businesses, they do have their personal information in there, and you may not want that printed, so please let us know on that. And then coming up this month, our regular, we're doing something fun. Well, we always do, but we have our after-hours mingle is at Shore Lanes Bowling. So, right?
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so that's the 23rd. We're going to have networking, and then you can stay, and they're having reduced price for bowling and your shoe rental, and just have some fun and hang out. So that'll be great. I did forget to mention the do's and don'ts of networking, and that's Alan Kershaw from Truly Nolan. He's doing that on Thursday right here at our chamber. And then we have our first Brevard Business Professionals. So remember, we started, was a year ago, we started Business Women of Brevard. And we realized that I think some men, as much as we said they're invited, were thinking they couldn't come. So we changed the name to Brevard Business Professionals so that they know it's for everybody. And it's at Buena Vida Estates. It's 8 to 9:30 on the 29th. So breakfast is included, and we're doing actually hurricane preparedness. We're doing a panel. So we're talking about if you have an insurance claim, what you need to do. We're talking about how to get ready. So we have, I'm hoping Jeff is still able to do this, but he worked with FEMA and, you know, how you prepare your business and your personal, because a lot of people kind of get in a panic and then they don't think of anything, you know, and it's what we can do now to be prepared to have that maybe box that has everything in it. So if something happens, you just take your tote and off you go, and it's got your copies of insurance and it's got your copies of like even birth certificates and all this kind of stuff. Like
passports.
It's stuff you kind of don't think about, but if your like was flattened, you need to have this, and it costs you money to try and get them. You can get everything again. It's just so much work, and it's, you know, you're kind of devastated to begin with. So anyway, well, that's our 29th. And then for those of you, we've been talking about this for a while, finally happening, the Peru trip. So we are going to have a discussion on that on the 29th. So the same day as Brevard Business Professionals, 5:30 to 6:30. We are going May 15th of 2018. So we're going to Peru. It's for, I think, 8 days. And we are going to Machu Picchu, which is just one of those incredible, beautiful places to go. And so that's with the chamber. And then what's the other big thing? Oh, yes, Phil Archer, the state attorney. He is going to be our keynote speaker for our next luncheon on the 6th. So we can't go over everything, but that is what's happening. Please check our calendar. We have a couple spaces. I can't believe it. I know. They keep telling me to stop filling in the blank spaces. I think Pat and Caroline are like with you. Okay, just because you see a blank space doesn't mean you have to fill it. Yeah. So, but check our calendar. It's online. You'll see everything that we've got going on, and register ahead of time. So please register early, because that makes it easier if you haven't done events. Yes, I know. It's a lot easier for planning if we know who's coming and how to best take care of you. I wanted to acknowledge we have Gio Ropert on Facebook. We have a Scott Eller with Rock Paper Simple. So cute. And value price. So I'm sorry, I did not. Oh, I think I said it. Yeah, so that's cheap, and he's so value price. Yes, that's us. We are providing extreme value for your membership. Your return on investment is phenomenal. So if you're joining us on Facebook, you can go to greaterpalmbaychamberofcommerce.com, join us live on the Zoom. Today we are talking about mastering your message and the elevator pitch. Yes. Which this is a great time for. We have Curtis, Linda, Donald. If you would like to share, I don't know about you, but I do. We love having that opportunity for you to share and actually give you blessing or give you input to have that impact today, because it's one thing to hear what we're talking about, but it's another thing to actually self-actualize it and have that support. Yes. So do you care if I start? No, please. So I have found with the mastering your message or elevator pitch, that one of the key things is to really know your audience. So speaking of our audience, do you think we should give Curtis and Linda and Donald a chance to say hello? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So Donald, I see you're on the camera, which is great. Yes, we got to do a tour of his office or his home. I'm going to hit unmute, Donald. Can you hear us? Oh, there he is. Hi, Donald.
I hear something. I hear something.
Oh, maybe. Can you hear us?
See now? There.
Donald, we're going to talk to you. Yeah.
Who are these ladies?
Well, one is Nancy Peloton, and another's another lady from
Hi, Donald. We're not seeing all of your face. So you guys need to get in the camera.
Sort of the tech person, I think.
One has.
Linda, did you want to say hi real quick? I'm going to unmute you if you wanted to say hello. We'd love to hear from you. Is Linda on there? Yeah, she is, and it's okay if you want to be shy. Linda? Is she there? No. No? Okay. Okay, and Kurt, did you want to say hello real quick? We have Kurt. Okay, hello. Okay. So feel free to unmute yourself and try to chime in. Sometimes getting that set up can be just something to work out on technology. Well, it took us forever to get where we are in the frame correctly. And look, you can see the lovely Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce behind us, not cut off. Because, Donald, we are seeing your chin and the hairline of the lady that's with you. Oh, now you're out of the screen. Yeah. So it's looking not to see how you fit into the frame. Okay, so one of the first things that it's good with your elevator pitch, because we all have, you probably have a number of different ones with the chamber or specific events, is knowing your audience.
Right.
Know who, where you're going and who you're going to speak with, and what is your goal? Like, what is your intention? I found that with the pitch, if we take time to write it down,
Yes.
and obviously, if you're face-to-face with Nancy, I'm not going to say, hi, I'm Shannon Grana, and have it scripted, but have somewhat of an idea
Right.
to be able to communicate and articulate quickly, clearly, and concisely in a way that has you wanting to know more.
Well, I think writing it down and practicing and timing it, because a lot of people either don't know how long a minute is or 30 seconds. You should do both versions. And so they'll either ramble on for 5 minutes and you're like, okay, cut it. Or they say something for 15 seconds and then everybody's looking like, well, you had a bit more time you could have filled in there. You don't want to give up the opportunity to be able to utilize your whole minute if that's what they're giving everybody. But you also need to know, if it's only 30 seconds, what you want to say, because it is different. I mean, it really is. If you have more time, then you can elaborate on, maybe a certain point. But if you only have 15 seconds to a minute, you really have to be succinct. And practicing, because once you talk usually a lot faster. And then you get to it and you're like, oh, that was only 40 seconds, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then you try and slow it down. But really, we do tend to talk quicker. And so I think that, timing it. And it sounds funny, but when I first did the Mega Marketplace, I had never really done an elevator pitch before and I didn't kind of know. And so I wrote it and I did practice, and then I went, oh, that definitely isn't long enough. And I knew we had a minute because I time it and then you go to the next person. It's like the speed networking. So you had a whole minute. And so I actually did time myself and wrote out exactly what I needed. And that was great practice. It really was. So.
Yeah. And I know that we have somebody in our community that for the longest time had been in business for a number of years. And he knew his audience. He knew exactly what he was looking for. But it wasn't until he wrote it down that he was able to move the words around and communicate in a way to where his business grew. Everybody was like, oh, I get it now. I mean, people say, I don't understand what he's doing. And I knew because I knew him directly. Yes, but it's still. And oh my goodness, we have a master
we do.
At communication. Gio, you want to say hello? I'm going to unmute you.
Hello. I got to kind of reformat here.
Oh, she's flipped it around. Oh, flipped it around.
Off the store before, so. Hi, good to have you. Be here.
Wow, that's a nice office. Okay, is this schizophrenic? If we say anything, it flips back and forth?
It does.
Oh, okay, so I'll be quiet and we'll let you talk, Gio.
What would you like me to say? I've been listening to what y'all are talking about. But
if you want to do a quick introduction, you're 30-second. Why don't you give us a sample of an elevator pitch?
Oh, there you go. Wow.
I'm Gio Roper. I am the president and founder of Roper & Partners Public Relations and Integrated Marketing Communications. I help businesses grow their brand by helping them tell great stories and getting them incredible press coverage. I help them reach their audiences and communicate the message that makes them customers.
Wow. That's a message. That's a good message. Wow.
I'll make it famous.
So how long did it take you, Gio, or how many times did it take you to get to that succinct but very informative message, do you think?
You tell it enough times, you start to believe it. No, it's it comes from saying it over and over again. Believing what your brand is and what it is that you do, and it's I have this. I think I have maybe kind of 3 or 4 variations of it depending on who I'm talking to or what kind of audience I'm facing. But it's just who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, and the benefit that you provide by doing it. What is your value proposition for your clients? That's what's important.
And have you found that if you use different words, it changed the way people perceived your message? Like, have you practiced with, different, like I said, different words or different phrases, or have you worked with somebody to say, oh, what do you think of this? And kind of bounce off ideas with them?
Yeah, usually the expressions on people's faces will tell you if you're connecting with them or not. You know, if they get that glazed over look, talk too much. If they get that inquisitive, like my mom, who still doesn't know what I do.
Oh,
and that brings up.
She just knows I've had a lot of different careers in my life, and so this is one of them, and this is the one I've had for the majority of it, and so. But it really is. It's testing. You test it out. You find out what resonates with people, you know, and eventually you get it down. It's like anything. You practice it enough, it becomes second nature. You can say it in your sleep. You can. I was a cruise director, and one of the things that we learned was that you could, no matter how you felt, you could get up on stage and make people believe that you were feeling incredible and so happy to be there because you had it down pat. You didn't even have to think about your facial expressions, your emphasis, everything that you did.
Wow. Wow.
Well, you brought up an interesting point that when you know, one of the things I found with the pitch is you do want to pretend like you're talking to a child. You want to be able to articulate it, you know, no acronyms or things, because if you're having, I know if somebody says something and I have to try to figure it out or think about it,
Yeah.
I kind of I'm not paying attention to the rest of what they're
That's
explaining.
true.
So
Yes.
keeping it really elementary, simple.
I think a lot of people don't realize how many acronyms they actually use. And so, yeah, you're right. You're like, okay, what does that stand for again? And you get stopped on that until you get it figured out. And then you might even ask at the end of the pitch, and then you missed everything that they said after that. So, yeah, I think that's really important. And I also think that it's important to run it by other people, because sometimes we're not our best advocates, which is really bad. But sometimes if somebody else said, well, you know, really what you guys do well is blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've had that a number of times when I've either had to write something and they said, well, you know, your really good skill set is this. And it wasn't even a thought process. The same as your elevator pitch, what you're known for. Sometimes you just don't include all the things that others see you or in you. And so, yeah, it's important to run it by people, I think, that know you well and are able to give you positive feedback about, you know, your pitch.
One of the things I know, there's so many different styles to do pitches. I know Sasha Zieberg, yes, she's amazing.
She is.
She has a thing of, you know, sharing 3 things. If you can share 3 things really quickly. And one of the things she told me was like, free press, having somebody speak about you, or free press is really free. There's thousands of dollars in free press right now with your name on it. You just need to know how to get it. And it's more powerful to have somebody talk about you than you talk about yourself.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that exactly, but she's like, if you can give, you know, let me tell you 3 things about media. That's one way. Another thing is talking about the challenge. And I just thought of one for the chamber, is that how many of you are spending thousands of dollars on marketing and not getting the results you want? Or how many of you are spending $1,000 in a month and you find at the end of the month you're back again going, okay, what's my marketing plan again? And at the Chamber of Commerce, you guys have a trustee opportunity where people can have their business marketed for an entire year.
Yes. Yes.
For as little as $1,500.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yes.
you don't have to go into all those details, but
yes, for $1,500. Yeah, they are on everything. Our trustees are superstars. So they're on our letterhead and every PowerPoint production we do and every brochure we do at a luncheon and events. You're right. It makes your dollars work because whenever they go on our website, they see the logos of our trustees.
Even, the letterheads. I was thinking about all the letters that you send out.
Yeah.
And the
Our
events.
Facebook page.
And it's pretty amazing. So the problem is that small businesses or, you know, businesses are spending money on marketing and maybe not getting the results, or it's a short window.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I think that, and this is a little off topic, but people sometimes are looking for that holy grail. They think that if I join just one more group or go to one more thing, that's going to be what sells me or gets me over that hump, rather than looking at maybe what they're currently doing. Because sometimes the message that they're sending out isn't the right message. And so it doesn't matter how many groups you join. you're not going to see the results you want. I know a number, it's funny, the ones that I've had some one-on-ones with, and I've seen them give their elevator pitches, and I think, you know, I would find it difficult to then refer them
Yes.
because they don't seem to have their message down of what exactly they're doing. And it seems to change every time. I mean, yeah, you want to think of your audience, but if every time I see you, you have a different message, that's not consistent. And it's confusion. Yeah, I don't know, okay, so what's your priority today? You know, what are you working on today? And that's not helpful either. Because then you think, okay, they've had 95 business cards and, you know, and that's a problem too. Because part of what we were talking about today is your elevator pitch and branding. And so if you don't find what your brand is and continue to promote your brand, then that causes confusion for people. And, you know, we kind of get that thing, well, what are they, kind of flighty or flaky? Or if I recommend them, are they still going to be in that business? Because anytime you refer somebody and you recommend somebody, they're trusting, they asked you and they're trusting you. So if the person doesn't come through, then that's your reputation as well. So that's for a number of people that I've had some, you know, one-on-ones, it's finding their pitch and their brand and doing the best with that. And sometimes you have to do some one-on-ones, and sometimes the brutally honest, you know, that's not the message you want to get across, is what you kind of want to have somebody do for you.
Yeah.
And it may be harsh and it may be hard to hear, but it can make all the difference in the world.
Yep.
You know?
Lisa Nichols with The Secret says the one thing that's stopping people from getting what they want right now is the message. She's like, when we're able to articulate exactly what we want clearly and concisely, then we can attract it. But it's like I've spent years where it was like not spending time on that. Like I just got to be out busy and working and going to meetings. Yeah. And really I've seen overnight, and Gio, I'd love to hear your input on overnight, where you just tweak a couple of things or get, you know, clear on that message, and just, it's, I have this great video. It's the power of word. Oh, it's, Gio, you saw that video where it's like, there's a blind man.
Okay.
And he's got a sign and I'm blind, and he's begging for money. Mm-hmm. And people are, you know, throwing him money here and there, and he's not really getting much. And then a woman comes up and he grabs her shoes so he could feel her shoes, and she changes the sign. And next thing you know, people are just, his money's being filled up. And then she comes back later in the day to check on him, and he puts her hand on the shoes, and he's like, "What did you do?" And she goes, I wrote the same message, but with different words. And it was like, it's a beautiful day outside, but I can't see it. Oh. So it went from this, you know, I'm blind, please help, to it's a beautiful day outside and I can't see it. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a tear.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the same message said with different words. And talk about changing. Yeah, that switches it all up. Wow. Oh.
You know, that's also the beauty of social media, is that you can test messaging out so easily now, and you can change the messages, you know, on the fly. You can, especially if you're doing Facebook ads and you're doing, you know, the conversions, and you're really watching your analytics. You can see what words make people react, what actions they take based on what you have out there. You do that A/B testing, and you can find out very quickly, you know, this is working. Or Joshua Adams shared over when we were doing Media Magic last week, where, you know, he gets a call from a client and says, change this phrase here. We think this will work. And 10 minutes later, the client calls up and goes, no, change it back. It's not working. We could tell they were spending thousands and thousands of dollars, you know, and so they had real time information. But you can test your messaging out so well on social media and see what kind of responses it gets. But yeah, a message is, you know, I would love to say you get your message down to the point where it becomes automatic. But again, you also have to know what audience you're in front of. Sometimes you have to adapt your message to your audience.
That's true.
And Facebook, I love what you said with the ads and testing. I know that I got the title of my book from Facebook. So I just put it out there and said, I'm thinking about this. What do you like? Do you have any suggestions? And you're right. It's like, it's instant feedback
Right.
on things.
Yeah.
Well, and analytics are amazing now. I mean, when you think of all the money that was spent and you had no idea if it was useful or not, having these analytics is amazing. And I think that's the one thing when we talked about the guide, people are thinking, well, you know, a lot of people don't look at hardcover things anymore. And yet, man, every day we get people coming into the chamber going, do you have a resource guide? And I'm like, yeah, we will in October. So, so once again, it's a different market. So for millennials that can pull everything up on the phone, you know, we'll have that electronic version. But for those that are 65 plus, they want to look at a book and they want to have it in the car with them, and they are not checking on their phone for everything. They just want a book. You know, they just want a map. It's funny because people said, why are you so fixated on a map? We used to get, oh man, it seemed like every day, and we'd be looking at people coming in the door. We'd go, map. They wanted a map. Like we just knew, you know, you could just tell who wanted what. And so it's knowing your audience, and you putting all your eggs in one basket also is, I mean, I know a lot of the younger generation think, okay, everything can be done on Facebook, but if half of your demographics aren't using Facebook every day, that may not be the only place you do want to market yourself. You know, you do have to look at, and the analytics are great on that of how many people see that. But old media doesn't mean it's going away either, because there are still people that look at the magazines and the newspapers and, you know, want a hard, I know when I travel, I want a little book.
I love books. I don't like to look at the lighting
They
love books.
actually said there's a resurgence back in books, that the Kindle is great, but that a lot of people are going back to books. And I think it's because, and they actually did a study that found that children actually learn better from reading a book than reading it on a Kindle. And I don't know if it's because you highlight or you flip that. I don't know if you're more engaged or you just zone out looking at your screen because you're so used to it. But yeah, they've done studies on that. So you do have to look at more than one form to get your message out there and to brand yourself. Because when people start seeing you in more than one place, that also gives legitimacy to your message as well. It's not just, I mean, you know, everybody can write whatever they want on Facebook kind of thing. But, you know, if they're seeing it then in a magazine, or, you know, on your business card, you tie that in, or you have flyers, or you have a billboard, or, you know, and yeah, for every size company, obviously you're not doing all these things. But if you do have a message that is continually reinforced in people's minds in more than one area, it does tend to stay with people a lot more. Or you're unique. Like I think when you said about rock, paper, simple, you know, they were saying, what was it, 10 reasons why you shouldn't hire them or something?
Yes,
And they take the opposite view. And you're like, man, that just sticks with you. It's very creative. It makes you laugh. And, you know, that's not for everybody either, but for the ones that it does, you know, they attract the people that find that engaging. So I think it's very unique.
And I had one more point I wanted to add, but I'm going to just check in and see if Curtis or Linda or Donald, and I know we just had Valerie join us. We would love to hear from you.
Is Valerie, is that her face?
This is a great opportunity to get some.
Oh, there's Valerie. She's waving. Okay, we're going to
unmute
Valerie.
you.
Okay,
Can you say hi?
Valerie,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We're just saying hi. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Valerie James with Brevard Tobacco Initiative.
she's one of our chamber partners.
Yay! Perfect.
Valerie, do you want to do your elevator pitch when you meet somebody, how you talk about Brevard Tobacco Initiative?
We really don't have one.
Oh, well, you're in the right place.
Yes.
Would you like to try one and then have us give you some feedback? Are you open for some support with creating one?
Definitely. Hi, I'm Valerie with Brevard Tobacco Initiative. We are your community partners for tobacco prevention and education. Our mission and our goal is to have a tobacco-free community where everyone makes correct choices about not using substance that can kill you.
Wow, awesome. Okay, so and you're open to feedback?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, first off, I just want to acknowledge you for having the courage to do that, because it's the sometimes scary, especially when people put you on the spot like we did. But it's people that take risks like that get big results. So one of the things that I think that's really powerful is maybe sharing some stats, maybe share, because it pulls to people's heartstrings. It could be how many of you have known somebody that's died from lung cancer, or do you have any stats about smoking?
Yes, I do. Typically, one of the ones that we share is that 88 Floridians die on a daily basis as a result of tobacco use or secondhand smoke exposure.
Wow.
So to start out with something like that gets my attention. How about you and Gio? Do you want to add anything? You're on mute, Gio, by the way.
I think, one of your goals can get Brevard to be tobacco free.
Okay.
Say something that rattles them. They go, what? How are you going to get an entire county to be tobacco free? But that's your goal. I mean, you want to have a tobacco free community, and you hit that. I love the using statistics, power words. And Shannon's great at those. Is using words that just blow people away. When they hear those words, they stop and they go, wow.
Okay.
So that stat was really powerful and right on, and it's real time. The only thing that kind of had me, I would just be mindful, because I know that when people, when you said to make correct choices, so that there might be a different way. And Gio, maybe you can help, and Nancy, you can help. I know that when even though I 100% agree, I don't want my teenagers smoking, just sometimes when people feel shame or guilt, and I know that's not your intention, like you have a way of doing it,
but it seems like they're bad for smoking.
Yes,
so you don't.
So that maybe saying something along the lines of we would like to help provide people with other options to deal with stress, or maybe there's another way to language that. Gio, do you have any input on that?
I like that, actually. That there's another way to deal with it. You don't want to shame them, because they immediately get defensive. Especially smokers. I used to be one, and it's everybody. Yeah, it's bad for me. I know, but and I'll make the decision, or I'll die. One of the two. But being able to put it in the context of that you want to improve the health and lives of everybody in our community. And one of the ways of doing that is to reduce the amount of tobacco use.
Okay.
And that way you don't put it on somebody's shoulders. You make it a community endeavor. You put everybody into the boat, all working towards the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
So do you mind sharing, I'd just like to know, I have a couple of questions. About your process. Is it okay if I do this real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
About your process. Do you, is this a coaching process? Is this you have a step-by-step? Tell me a little bit about how you're helping how you assist people.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we do within our program, we don't provide direct services for people to quit if they're trying to quit. We do a referral. We refer them to our community facilitators who complete those classes through our Health First systems mostly. So we refer out for cessation classes to help people quit. We do a youth component, which is students working against tobacco. We're currently in 7 schools right now in the county, 7 middle and high schools in the county. And we go in and we educate young people basically on the manipulative practices of the tobacco industry, targeting them so that they can become the new users, because we know that anyone that uses tobacco potentially will die because of an illness or disease as a result of using tobacco. So we educate kids on how to avoid making the choice of doing that. We educate them and give them the information, and we say, we don't tell you what to do, we don't tell you how to do it, We just give you factual information so you can make the correct decision for you. And then we go in and we speak with our community decision makers, whether they're at the county level, city level, or at the school board, and talk about developing policies to help counteract tobacco use on different county properties. At the school board, we helped the school board put their policy together a couple years ago. So most of it's education and doing the legwork and finding the resources necessary to help with that type of work, if that's something that they're interested in. Worksite wellness, pretty much.
That's awesome. So just some language. And again, what I would suggest, I know you just got on, but we talked about in the beginning how important it is to like write it down, because when you write it down, you can start wordsmithing it and moving things around. But some of the key things that I heard that was appealing to me, you might say something along the lines of, if you're a smoker, we actually have within our system where we match you up with a, I don't know if we match you up with the ID. Is it a facilitator? We match you up. Is it a?
Yes, it's they are called facilitators, cessation class facilitators.
Okay, so we have classes and we align you with a facilitator that will help you do this, so you don't have to be alone.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, not being alone on that.
And then the second thing that I heard was with the kids. Letting people know that we part of how we're implementing our initiative is we are in the schools right now educating and working with the youth to let them know the impact that smoking has on them.
Okay.
I think that's really powerful to let people know.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's not the problem that it was. And yet, isn't it going up again with all these gummy bears and kind of the chews and type of thing that have tobacco in it? And they really are targeting youth. I mean, they're making the packages and stuff. Man, it looks like a Bubblicious and it's, a thing of tobacco. They're very smart, the marketers. And so I think being able to show that you're making a difference with this next generation, and really it's still a challenge, because I think a lot of people that don't smoke don't really see it. I mean, I kind of think of Europeans and they are all smoking, but it's amazing how many still smoke here in the United States, and letting people know that statistic, like of, we're trying to make sure that this next generation does not become, the numbers that they currently smoke. It's just sorry, we got distracted here. It's a garbage can. So we're like, okay, somebody's coming in our door.
So Valerie, just to kind of wrap this part up, do you have a website you'd like to share with individuals?
Yes. Our website, it's long because it comes through the Florida Department of Health, because that's where our grant comes through. tobaccofreeflorida.com /county/Brevard. That'll get you to our website.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Bitly is free, and I'm not saying don't use that, because obviously that's some of your marketing things, but Bitly, bit.ly is free, and you can customize a Bitly link.
Okay.
So, I've went in and I've gotten like Bitly discovery session or whatever, Bitly Brevard tobacco free. You might want to just see, and Gio, you may say that's not good for branding, but just for things like this, when you're on the radio or you're on a webinar, it's nice to have that short and sweet thing. So you might want to look at doing that. Now, my last question is, what are you looking for next? What do you need next with this? How could the community help you with this initiative?
Mm-hmm. We are looking to actually touch every aspect within our community, because we are a community organization. The funds, it's for everybody to be able to benefit from what we do. So our biggest goal, what we've set out, is to expand our services throughout the entire county. When I first started 4 years ago, I think it's been 4 years ago, we were very central in Brevard. And so all of the schools that we work with were within that Melbourne, maybe a little bit of Palm Bay, South Palm Bay area. So we've stretched. Now we do have a couple of clubs up in Titusville that we work with, and we're starting to push into the Rockledge, Cocoa, and down into like Heritage area. So we're trying to definitely expand all aspects.
So one of the things, and this is great, with the elevator pitch, is you've given me great information, but I don't know how to help you. So in your elevator pitch, and this isn't appropriate in every environment, but I know at least with my events, what we do, it's like, what do you need next? How can I help you?
Yeah.
And so being able to give us a specific action. Hey, Shannon, who do you know that smokes that's ready to quit? Or who do you know that's looking to give back financially to help us with expansion? Or who do you know that would be open to running a club? So the more specific you could be with your request, then we can start really moving your business forward. So Valerie, that's a great example.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to make the connections. I mean, part of what a chamber does is to provide the opportunities to connect you with the right resources. So, it's not something we do specifically ourselves. It's us getting you the right person to connect with. So, when you say, okay, I'm looking, it could even be somebody in the schools. I'm looking for somebody in the schools that will take up this cause and let us get classes or a club in every school in Brevard County. I mean, whatever your big, hairy, audacious goal is, if you are specific with what you're looking for, and it could be something obviously smaller than that, but like Gio said, your goal is, if it's to eradicate smoking in Brevard County, what are you looking for, and how can we help? And so being specific, the more specific you are, the more somebody can say, oh yeah, I know somebody you can talk to, or I know who you might want to connect with, because it's a call to action. People tend to want to help. Like most people do. They want to feel like, oh, well, I know.
My brain is like, who do I know?
Yeah. So, and so it just starts, okay, well, let me think who might be a good partner for you. And so, it's asking that, it's like that call to action. How can we help you? Yeah. Because a lot of people never ask that. They really don't. And so you think, oh, well, that's nice. I'm not, I think, oh yeah, well, I don't know how to help. And then it just ends at that. Whereas if you have that specific, okay, we want to have a club in Heritage High School. Who do I need to talk to? Or do you know somebody I can talk to? Well, then we can look, we can help make that connection. And if you think every time you network, you asked one specific ask.
This is what I'm looking for, or who can help me with this? Yeah.
Then you're thinking, your goals would be,
So thank you, Valerie.
Yes.
You get like big applause for letting us play. This is what I love.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was great. Now there was some on Facebook. Was there any other comments?
No,
that we need
new
to
ones that have
respond to?
joined.
Okay.
Well, we have lots of people watching. It's been great on Facebook.
Okay. Cool.
Valerie, was that helpful?
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of the chamber.
Yes, absolutely. We are thrilled.
Okay, Kurt or Linda or Donald, do you want to share anything about yourself? You just hit unmute and we would love to play. Linda's unmuting.
Oh, there she goes. Okay.
Hi, it's Linda.
Hi.
Linda. How are you?
I really appreciated that feedback that you gave to Valerie. It was really very helpful.
Can you talk just a little bit louder? I heard you, but I want to make sure everybody else can hear you. It's little. We have a fan going in here.
Yeah. Do you have your volume control on your computer?
I really appreciate the feedback you gave to Valerie. It was very helpful.
Great.
Okay.
Is there anything we can help you with? Do you want to share your elevator pitch?
Well, sure. I'll go ahead and give it a shot. I'm Linda Filippini with the Brevard Schools Foundation, and we support innovation, engage communities, and change lives for 73,000 students and 5,000 teachers in Brevard Public Schools.
I'm not sure our audience is hearing this. Do you think so? Because if we can't hear them, do you think
Yeah,
that
can you kind of yell at us? Do you mind? Pretend like we're sitting across the room.
I think
No,
I think your
unfortunately,
volume
I
can't be up at full
I
range.
I can't because I'm in a cubicle.
Oh, you're in a cubicle.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
But is your volume on your computer up at full range,
The
Linda?
mic.
The microphone?
Yes,
You know, over-
it is.
It is?
Okay.
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 Okay, so Linda is with the Brevard School Foundation. And after that, it kind of got
Well, yeah,
muffled
and I
for-
heard that she's I heard 73,000 working with
73,000 students and 5,000 teachers in Brevard Public Schools.
So
And our goal
70
is to fill educational and funding gaps in the district.
Oh, okay. So the educational and funding gaps in the district is what she's focusing on, trying to close that gap.
okay.
So that was what, 73,000 students and 5,000 teachers. So Linda's job with the foundation is to help raise funds to
Yeah, can you tell me what that would look like, how your process works?
We try to pair community partners, businesses and organizations with programs in the district that are looking for funding.
So
as
really
well as the
you're
foundation's programs.
With some of the foundation's programs?
Correct.
Okay.
So are you looking for the business communities to maybe sponsor? I know a lot of the schools, they have on the drive-through where the parents come to pick up the kids, there's the banners there that they can buy, or they can be at the school auditorium and they have, you know, kind of banners, or and what type of things are you?
That type of funding actually is done directly with the school district.
Okay.
The community relations department. What we do is primarily fundraising, grants, that type of support.
Okay, fundraising and grants. So do you have an event coming up that you are looking for some assistance with?
We will have information later on this week, but not right now.
Okay.
So could you fill in the blanks if I said if it was what I'm looking for is?
Yeah.
More community engagement and support for education.
So how would that look if how would I engage?
Volunteerism in the schools or with the foundation, or through direct financial support or in-kind support.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's to say we're looking for volunteers, or is there, you know, maybe financial partners, or may not say, Gio, do you have any? Well, Gio disappeared for a minute. So between the two that you said, the first one was more community involvement. It needed to be a little bit clearer so I can start going, okay, who do I know that would volunteer? Who do I know that's looking to, you might want to say, I'm looking for individuals that are looking to give back to the community and our education, right?
Yes,
Would that work?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
because it's saying specifically the type of volunteer and the interest that you want them to have. You know, because sometimes people go, well, I can do, you know, QuickBooks. Well, that might not be the type of volunteer you're looking for. And you might want to be specific with, you know, kind of the time or commitment, or if when you said you want volunteers, or they can be volunteers for the foundation, what you might be looking for, the type of volunteer you want in the foundation. Because sometimes we're just general, we just want bodies. But then it's a lot on you to kind of go through and see if they're really the type of volunteers that you're looking for. Because coming from the nonprofit world, I mean, we used to get all types of individuals, and some were just trying to get their community service in for the court order that they had. I mean, you know, so maybe being specific with the type of volunteers or the jobs that you're looking for them to do.
And what the statement that I was saying was talking to the financial realm, because I know I go to an event where people look for investors, and as soon as they say I'm looking for investors, it's like everybody, you know, it has a weird reaction. So they may say I'm looking for people on my vision team, or I'm looking people that want to be a part of our expansion. I'm looking for people that are wanting to give back. You can say financially to the education, but
sure.
But
yeah.
Is that helpful?
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah, well, because people don't want to be parted from their money, even though, you know, like we all give. It's like, oh, they're asking me to give money, you know, and it kind of does put you right off the bat in a different frame of mind than if you do a different sell with it.
So I'm going to give them 2 resources, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Well, one, this is for nonprofits. There's a great website called forimpact.org, forimpact.org. They've helped raise, I think, over $50 million for nonprofits.
Wow.
And they really help churches. And, you know, churches is a whole other animal where they don't necessarily have something like you, Linda, or Valerie. So that is they give tons of videos, all kinds of stuff with languaging, and have been very successful for that. And another partner with the chamber is Synervision, Synervision Hubaloo, and he has also helped with creating that culture to where it's not just you out there raising money, but how to get your board, how to get your team, how to get everybody out there working cohesively. So it's Synervision, Hubaloo. Both of those are great resources for nonprofits looking to strengthen that financial muscle.
Yes.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
And Hugh actually has a great website, and he also has some mailings. So he gets some
gives it away,
superstars
yeah.
I know in that magazine. I just got it
Oh,
actually.
he does nonprofit chat every Tuesday at, I think it's 7:00 on Facebook Live. Or if you just go to nonprofitchat.com, I think it's nonprofitchat.com or .org. It's free, and he brings on
great guests.
Incredible guests, and you get to interact just like this.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Thanks.
But this company is
Thank you.
Synervision, so you can check on our chamber site to look up Hugh.
All right, I'm gonna unmute Kurt and see if we can get this to work. Okay, Kurt, I unmuted you. Can you hear us?
Oh,
Can you talk? No.
Well, we tried.
Yeah. Keep coming back and trying. Keep coming back and trying. So wonderful. So we have just a few more minutes. Any closing remarks on this?
Well, I think one of the most important things with your elevator pitch is to use your personality. You know, I mean, you get people engaged with you. It's you that they're meeting. It's you that is the face of your company or whoever you're representing. And so when you try to be somebody you're not, or, you know, you put on this whole air and that, I don't know. I just find when you're yourself and you stay true to yourself that people will engage because they get to know, like, and trust you. That's one of the things that we always say is that you want to build that relationship so they know, like, and trust you. And so if you are true to, you know, your mission and your vision and, you know, what you put out there every time you brand yourself so it's consistent, that's the best message that you can have it. And waiting to be perfect, you know, some people get terrified and stopped in their tracks because they're like, oh, if I say the wrong word, it's just not going to be right. They don't know what your message was, you know, like what it's supposed to be. They just know it's you. And, you know, just, like I said, be yourself. And I think that makes all the difference in the world with an elevator pitch.
I found that if you're in front of the right person, it's like I could say the right thing to the person that's not a match, and it doesn't matter if it's the right thing. And I could say the ideal match, totally fumble and bumble, and they're attracted to, so that's such a good point.
Yeah, good.
So next month, we have a special guest.
Who we know?
Nancy? Friday?
Yes, we do. Do we know? No, somebody has a memory. Yes, we do. Oh, yes. She's also with our Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce and is a fabulous speaker. She does wonderful trainings, and she is going to be our guest, on with us, kind of like we had with you. And we'll be providing... That's okay. Poor Shannon. To this poor woman, man. Oh boy, she's had whooping cough for, I don't know, what are you at, to 2 or 3 months?
Yeah. I'm using throat spray to.
Yeah, so she's hanging in there. So as soon as we're off, she'll hopefully be okay. But no, Nancy is graciously joining us next month, and it will be, once again, the third Tuesday. So let me just give you the date there. It is the 19th.
And Missy Hatfield is going to be on Nancy Friday
Oh,
as
Nancy.
her.
Oh,
Yes. No. Yeah, it's Missy Hatfield.
They're
Nancy,
like a partner.
yes,
So
they are a team that work together, but Missy is the one. And she's calling it No Cape Required, How to Make a Difference in Your Community. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one. And hopefully we can have a really good interaction like we had today, because we want you to call in. We like putting our other members onto our webinar because it gives you more exposure, but it also makes it more interesting for us as well. So yeah, join us with Missy. It's called No Cape Required, How to Make a Difference in Your Community. So that's the 19th of September.
and since you've already signed up on Zoom, you should get a reminder, but put it on your calendar. But what's great is if you're watching Facebook Live and you want to get, be a part of this, just go to Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce.com
Yes.
and register, and then you'll be on the monthly announcements.
Yeah, because part of the problem is that when you're on Facebook, then we can see your comments, but we can't click you into the webinar. So that's why you want to sign up ahead of time. And we got some notes from, tried last time and it still showed a problem on my end. But well, Kurt, hopefully we can get you on there next month because, yeah, sometimes we have technical difficulties, but we are thrilled that all of you joined us this month, and we look forward to you next month. And go to
all your great events you have.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, check out greaterpalmbaychamber.com, and you'll see everything listed there. So thank you all, and
thank you, Gio.
And thank you, Linda and Valerie and Kurt and Scott and all our people that helped join our chamber chat this month.
Awesome. Have a great day.